As you may know, George Washington led the American troops to victory in the Revolutionary War. They were fighting for independence from England. When the American patriots won the Revolutionary War, a new country was formed, beginning with the 13 colonies and ending with what we now know is the United States of America. Back in the Revolutionary War in the 1700s, there were no cell phones or army radios to help you communicate information from one part of the army to another part. There were also no sneaky ways to get information from the enemy, like by using a drone or a hidden microphone. Instead, you had to use people. George Washington formed a group of people called the Culper Spy Ring. In that spy ring were men and women who would gather information for the Patriots. The women in the Culper Spy Ring were particularly effective because women in the 1700s were not considered to be very intelligent, and they were not paid much attention to. They could hide in the background and listen in on conversations, and the men wouldn't even notice they were there. So these women, spies in the Revolutionary War, were very clever and brave in getting information to George Washington and the Patriot armies. Lydia Dara lived in Pennsylvania in the 1750s. During the occupation of Philadelphia by the British, several high-ranking British soldiers were staying in the Dara's home. Lydia saw an opportunity to help the Patriots. She listened through the keyhole and spied on the meetings. Then she took down the information she had found and hid it in the buttons in her son John's coat. Then John took the messages to his older brother Charles, who was serving in the Continental Army under General Washington. Martha Bell was a rich farmer's wife and mother of 5. The British General Lord Cornwallis camped on her plantation for a few days. When he moved on, American patriots asked her to spy for them so they could know how many men Cornwallis had. She rode to the British camp and complained that the men had stolen items from her home. While he questioned the men, she counted men, cannons, horses, and wounded men. This information helped the Patriots plan their next attack. She continued to spy for the American troops. Emily Geiger was only 18 years old when she risked her life to deliver a message from the Patriot General Nathanael Greene to another Patriot officer, General Thomas Sumter. Other messengers had failed to get letters from one Patriot camp to the other. General Greene gave her a letter. It outlined a battle plan to defeat the British Army. He told her to read it and memorize it in case it got lost on the way. Emily did so. She hid the letter in her dress and set off. The journey took several days, and Emily had almost reached Sumter's camp when 3 British scouts captured her. They took her to headquarters, where she was accused of being a rebel spy. Emily denied it. When they left the room, she pulled out the letter. She realized she couldn't let them find it, so she read it one more time and tore it into tiny little pieces. She decided she had to eat it, and one by one she chewed the bits of dry paper. When they searched her, they found nothing on her, and so they let her go. She quickly ran to the Patriot camp and recited word for word the secret battle plans that she had eaten. Patience Wright was an artist. She would make wax models of famous people. She lived in the colonies originally and made friends with lots of patriots and decided she supported the patriot cause. When she moved back to England, she found herself doing models and wax figures of some of the most famous generals in England. While she was sculpting a model of them, she would listen to the conversation and take down notes. She sent those back to General Washington by sneaking them in the base of her sculptures and mailing them to a friend who passed them on to the armies of General Washington. Anna Strong was a spy in Long Island in New York. Strong and several other residents of Long Island were recruited by the Patriot Army. Anna's job was to signal the other spies that there was information to be picked up from the Patriots in Long Island. She figured out an ingenious, almost foolproof idea to message the spies. She simply hung her laundry out to dry in plain sight of British soldiers. She hung a black petticoat on the clothesline, along with a number of handkerchiefs. The black petticoat meant that a message was ready to be picked up, and the handkerchiefs were in a pattern that told where the message was hidden. This messaging system was never figured out by the British throughout the entire Revolution. No one expected that a woman, by just doing her laundry, was helping the Patriot cause. Another mysterious agent was a woman, and her code name was Agent 355. She would often pass messages on using codes or ciphers. There were many ways in which she received information from the Patriots and passed it on to other Patriots, or overheard information from the British and passed it on. She was only one of the brave and intelligent women who were able to help the Patriot cause during the Revolutionary War. The Culper spy ring used dead drops, disinformation, and coded messages in its day-to-day activities. One of the ways that they passed secret messages was through invisible ink. Another was hidden text, codes, masked lettering, and of course, they intercepted letters. What about spies today? How can you find out about them? The CIA has a great website called Spy Kids. On it, you can find out about modern spies, spying techniques, the way animals are used in spying, the way planes and other equipment are used. There's lots of information on here to find out about spies today. So take some time to look through the website. There's lots of cool information on there. And you can even find some puzzles and codes and ciphers that you can do yourself. Look at all these fun things you could do. I hope you've had fun learning about spies during the Revolutionary War and spies today. Now it's time for a challenge.
Today we've been talking about spies, and spies sometimes need help with getting messages across to the people that they are working with. And so the Morse code was invented in the early 1800s by a man named Samuel Morse. It is made up of dots and dashes, and it can be used to transmit messages across wires through beeps. Morse code has played a major use in wars, specifically in World War II, and it is even used today. So, for example, if you were going to get help from somebody, you would use the letters SOS, which is 3 dots, 3 dashes, and 3 dots. So, for example, you go to your chart and you find that this is the letter S. It has 3 dots, O has 3 dashes, and S has 3 dots. And that's what you would use for help in emergencies. Blinking Morse codes even help captured POWs secretly relay messages. So, for example, let's try some. So let's say that I want to use the word help. So I have HELP. So I would go to my chart and I would see that the letter H has 4 dots. So I would write 4 dots underneath my H. I would find the letter E, and that has 1 dot. So the letter E would be 1 dot. The letter L has a dot, dash, dot, dot. And the letter P, which is down here, has a dot, dash, dash, dot. So when I write help in Morse code, that's what it would look like. Let's do another example. Let's do the word name. So I write the word name down. Then I go to my chart and I find the letter N. The letter N has a dash and a dot. And then you go find the letter A, which has a dot and a dash. The M has 2 dashes, and the E has 1 dot. So this is what name would be in Morse code. So I hope you have fun figuring out messages that you could get to your friends and your family and see if they can solve them. Have fun, and thanks for joining us. Have a great day. Come and check out the books we have on spies at the library. And you'll find out some more information regarding spies. We have all kinds.